Like, so and become insecure. And they become insecure in a sense where they start saying, you know, I'm not like that other person. I'm not like this person. Because they start, and when they start saying that I'm not like the other person, what are they saying indirectly? I hate myself. I want to be like the other person. I hate myself. So, again, let's go back to the brain. Okay. Let's go back to the brain. When you say that I hate myself, then you don't want to be within your own skin. Right? You don't want to be in your own skin. You don't want to be in your own body. You want to be outside of your body, right? Because you start feeling pain. And you start suffering within your own self, right? I mean, ask yourself, how many times have you cried yourself to sleep thinking about something? Right? How many times? Many, many times, right? We do that. Now, keep in mind, and of course, all these things, paranoia, fear, constant worry, even thoughts of suicide. You know, I'm so bad that, you know what? The pain is so much, I just want to kill myself. Right? We even get to that point. So now, this is what I want to get at. Our thoughts create behaviors. So when a person says to themselves, you know, I'm not physically well enough, you know, like the other person, what would they end up doing? What would they end up doing? Well, I mean, within teenage life, you'll probably see, you know, of course, teenagers wearing things that they're not supposed to wear, right? Promiscuous way of behaviors, you know, exposing their physical structure too much, right? Why? To get attention from that individual. To seek attention so that I know once the other person notices me, that gives me a sense of pleasure. It gives me pleasure. It gives me pleasure when other people notice me, right? Why? Because I'm not getting pleasure in my life. I'm empty inside. And automatically when other people notice me, I get pleasure. There's meaning in my life now, right? So this is what we have to think about. What are some behaviors, thoughts that constantly haunt us and creates behaviors within us? Now, I spoke about altering consciousness. We can alter consciousness all the time. We do it all the time. You probably have noticed young children, like 2-year-old, 3-year-old children. Have you noticed? You know, sometimes they end up doing this, and then their head starts spinning, and then they just fall down. You know, why do they do that? Why do they do that? Have you thought of that? Why do they do that? They're altering their consciousness. But guess what? We do that. Where? Where do we do that? Six Flags, right? We do that. Because automatically when we start, oh, by the way, we're playing with our chemicals in our brain when we do that. In other words, your balance, when it shifts, your chemical reactions in your brain changes as well. And that gives you a sense of pleasure. Why do you think the entertainment industry is making so much money out of changing your chemicals in your brain? You know that? 3D movies. Why do they do that? Because it changes our chemical brains and it gives you a sense of pleasure. Right? So we alter consciousness all the time. Why do we alter consciousness? Why is there a need for us to alter our consciousness? Because we're not happy with the current reality that we are living in. Okay? With whatever struggle that we have. Okay, so healthy and unhealthy behavior. So how do we deal with this now? Now that we understood how this thing works within our minds, how does this, well, what do we do? What is the alternative? Healthy and unhealthy things. Healthy thing would be to have a person in your life who you could go to as a spiritual father or a spiritual mother. When you become anxious, when you become worried, when you are in conflict in your life, it is a great thing in your life if you have somebody to go to and talk to. It's very important. Just like addicts, where do they go to when they have these triggers or desire to pick up? They have a sponsor, right? They have AA meetings. They have a community they go to as a support system. Having positive thoughts about yourself and others. You know, when you look at the prayers of the church, you know, that's one thing that we take for granted. the whole prayers of the church tells you how good you are. Not saying, how good of a person you are. No. How much you're loved by God. How much what God did in terms of the love that He gave towards you. Having healthy relationships. Having healthy habits that helps you to reach your true potential. Okay, now I'm going to skip through a couple of slides because of time. Now, how do we tackle addictive behaviors? Wait, before that. Okay, so you may ask yourself, okay, so what do some unhealthy addictive behaviors look like? Of some things that you could analyze within your own life that may see as signs. I'm not saying it's going to lead you to addiction, but these are some symptoms, some initial stages of addiction. Have you seen people who look into the phone compulsively? It's like, did I get a text? Did I get a text? Did I get a text? Did I get an email? Twitter? Like compulsively looking at the phone. Guess what? That's one sign of an addictive behavior, believe it or not. Because it's attachment. We spoke about how when, pleasure, compulsive behaviors comes out of pleasure. When you get a text message, believe it or not, there is a pleasure behind it. There is a pleasure behind it, right? Especially when it's from certain individuals, right? Wanting certain types of food all the time. Getting angry, frustrated for no reason. Too much sleep or lack of sleep. Displaying promiscuous behaviors. Extreme isolation. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. If you're isolating yourself from your family, from your loved ones, from your friends, from your church, be very careful when you are walking through that road, okay? Eating too much, too little, feeling the urge to talk all the time. I want to talk on the phone all the time. I want to be did you hear what happened in school? This girl. I know. I'm sorry. Overly fidgety and uneasy. When we become overly fidgety and uneasy, that shows that there's something within your own chemicals in your brain that is trying to find stability, but it's not reaching there. You're becoming anxious, you're getting paranoid, you're getting frustrated. Now, I cannot talk about this topic without talking about Billy Mini. Billy Mini, used to say this all the time. Which is the most easiest way to kill a snake? So just imagine addictive behaviors becoming a snake. Okay? Which is the easiest way to kill a snake? Anyone? Step on it. Cut the head off. Avoid it. Yes. But just imagine you're pretty much, stuck with this snake. The easiest way to kill a snake, in Vladimi's terms, to kill it in its egg stage. To kill it in its egg stage. See, the problem is, we wait for this snake to come out of this egg, and we start feeding the snake. We start feeding it and feeding it and feeding it. Before you know it, the snake is so greater than you can't do anything about the snake. When you have the opportunity, when it's in the egg stage, step on it. Kill it. Right? In other words, when you are slowly starting to say lies, that's when you should stop lying. When you're slowly saying, oh, it's just one drink. It's just one drink, right? It's just something small. It's only just that day that happened. Oh, and then the other day. Oh, and then the other day. And then there's twice as much the next day, right? And then onto something greater. Before you feed it and it grows, you gotta kill it right when it starts. I mean, this is wisdom from the Holy Fathers, literally. Just like a plant. Bishop Michael gives this example all the time in class. When you plant a plant, and then it grows, into a big sequoia tree, which is the easiest stage to pluck that tree out? When it's a plant, when it's in a seed form. Because once it turns into a sequoia tree, it's so difficult to pluck it out. Why do you think confession is important? Confession, what you're doing is detox. It's spiritual detox. You're getting poison out of your system. You're getting all this negative seeds out of your system. You're speaking out. You're saying, these are the things that I struggle with. And you take it out of your system. You get your toxins out, right? Same way, you get out all this spiritual poison that we've added. So, I know that I have to wrap up in 2 minutes. I should have went through a couple of slides, but that's okay. I do wanted to, okay, 2 minutes, great. So, oh gosh, okay, let's see. Okay, so our life could be, I think, there are a couple of the people who've, I've shown this slide before. So what is the solution? The solution is basically, we have to keep in mind, our life is either spiraling up or spiraling down, okay? Our life it's never stagnant, it's never, a straight line. In the medical terms, the heart rate, right? If it's a straight line, what does that mean? The person is dead. That's never the case when you're, some of you guys are dead, right? No. That's never the case when we're alive. Either you're going up or you're going down. The question is, which way are we going? And which way do you want to go? Of course, you want to go up all the time. But we end up spiraling down. Why? Why does that happen? And I'm going to end it with this story. And the story about these two wolves. I think I've mentioned, different retreats that I've attended about the story, about these two wolves, about this one child going to his grandpa and asking this question, Grandpa, 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 there are these two wolves fighting in my mind constantly, all the time. There's one wolf which is a good wolf who is saying, do positive things, heal go visit the sick people, go do positive things in life. At the same time, there's a bad wolf who constantly telling me to do bad things in life. And they're constantly fighting back and forth. And who's going to win? And you know what this grandpa said? Grandpa grabbed this child, hugged him and loved him and said, son, whoever you choose to feed will win. Whoever you choose to feed will win. In other words, if you feed the good wolf, the goodness that is within you, through creating positive thoughts, doing positive things in your life, all these good things that, by the way, which I should have, this is the last slide, I promise. Positive things that you could do for yourself, you feed the good wolf. At the same time, if you feed the bad wolf with negative thoughts, negative behaviors, negative lifestyles, guess who's going to win? The bad wolf, right? So in other words, we create our own behaviors. We create our own thoughts. We have a choice. We have a choice. The devil will tell you, you don't have a choice. So what do you do? When you leave here, how do you deal with your anxiety? How do you deal with your loneliness? How do you deal with your hopelessness? Well, guess what? You may not believe what's in the slide, but this is proven clinically. What I'm showing you is proven clinically that it works. You need to get rest. Yes, believe it or not, 6 hours of sleep gives you good amount of pleasure release in your mind, believe it or not. Okay? Eating right, very, very important. What you eat influences the way that you think. Okay? Why do you think the church gives you lessons about fasting, about Lent, all these things? Because the church knows how much food affects your life. Mental exercises, which is writing, reading, enlightening your minds with spiritual things. Physical exercise, very, very important. Please, 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 especially when you guys are young, physical exercise is so important. Physical exercise gives you a sense of pleasure that you need in a positive way. Spiritual exercises, prayer, fasting, reading the lives of the saints, which creates positive thoughts within your minds. If you do this religiously, I guarantee you, your life will be balanced. It will help you reach your full potential. Okay? Because what addiction does is, it cripples you from reaching your true potential. That's essentially what addiction does to you. Addiction cripples you from you reaching to God. It prevents you from reaching theosis. Okay? That being said,